Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is the lightning rod Democratic hopeful to represent New York's 14th district in Congress. Last month, she beat the 10-term incumbent Joe Crowley in the Democratic primary. Ever since, she's been conducting many interviews and eliciting support to other progressive Democratic candidates. So on Saturday, she was in St. Louis, Missouri to campaign with Cori who was seeking to unseat incumbent Democratic Representative Lacy Clay. So during the rally, Ocasio-Cortez spoke about education and health care for children, and it made someone in particular feel very uncomfortable. So Virginia Kruta, who is an associate editor for the Daily Caller, which is a conservative website, she attended the rally and wrote an op-ed about her experience. She described why listening to Ocasio-Cortez was, quote, truly terrifying. So these are some quotes from her op-ed piece. I saw how easy it would be as a parent to accept the idea that my children deserve health care and education. I saw how easy it would be as someone who has struggled to make ends meet to accept the idea that a living wage was a human right. Above all, I saw how easy it would be to accept the notion that it was the government's job to make sure that those things were provided.
Yeah, she had also explained that she had been to a Cruz rally, Ted Cruz. She had been to a Rick Perry rally,
right,
and she had been to a Donald Trump rally. One thing that this lady pointed out was that she couldn't deal with the tone of it. The tone was so different, and I'm like, you know what? She's not using the right word, because really what she was just upset about was the subject matter. It wasn't really the tone. It was kind of the subject matter. But I don't know how talks of healthcare and education are so traumatic.
Terrifying.
Terrifying. It's terrifying. And I was like considering the other rallies she has gone to, that, I'm kind of concerned for her children. If a forum where the subject matter is education and healthcare is troubling to her, I'm trying to figure out, are rallies where the speaker chants lock her up more of her taste? Because she said she went to a Trump rally. Is a rally where the speaker's sense of confidence and self-worth is based on how he insults his enemies more up her aisle? You know what I'm saying? Is a rally where the speaker encourages, I guess, rally goers to engage in violence, and the speaker himself says that he will pay the legal fees of those who engage in violence on his behalf? Is that more family friendly for her?
It's more her style.
Does that more her style?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Is that did those rallies, kind of have life lessons that she would want to bestow upon her kids? But she would definitely never ever want to bestow upon her kids the idea that education and healthcare should have more broad access, throughout the United States. Now that's a bridge too far.
That's why this has been getting clowned on social media and on Twitter. Her words have been cited, and people are actually claiming that this must be parody, because this doesn't seem like it's real. It's hold on, you're saying that advocating for healthcare and education for everybody is scary to you, and you're being serious about it? No, you can't be being serious. But her words, she says, above all, I saw how easy it would be to accept the notion that it was the government's job to make sure that all those things were provided. And you're saying this like you're uncomfortable with it. The government should be involved, and the government is already involved. It's just that we understand that the government should be more involved in some areas. There's nothing wrong with having a government. If you are a member of government or you are involved in the electoral process, that means you are actually going to the voting booth and you are actually selecting somebody that, to vote for, then that means that you support government on some level. So it makes sense that the government would provide some things for us. And again, they are in the insurance market, right? They are on insurance matters. They're in the education field as well. It's just that they're not there enough to make sure that everybody is taken care of. It's not that everybody wants a handout. It's not that people just want things free, because again, everybody would be paying for exactly what we are calling for. It's just that we need somebody there to actually dish it out, to actually like funnel it to us. It's not that we're saying like we're gonna lay on our asses and you're just gonna give us healthcare. You're gonna actually make sure that we are provided with a quality education as well. We're not gonna do anything to make sure that it happens. The government just come up with the money. It's not gonna come from our taxes or anything. That's not it. The government is already collecting taxes from us, right? They're collecting a buttload of taxes from the middle class and from poor people. They're cutting taxes for the rich and for corporations. Since I believe since the 60s, we've talked about this on a number of shows before too. Since the 60s, the middle class has been taking more and more of the tax burden away from corporations.
But why are we in this situation in the first place? Like people who say, well, I don't think healthcare should be a universal right. Well, guess what? If you don't think healthcare should be a universal right, then why should police protection be a universal right? Why should the paving of our roads, be a universal right? Why should they even have to do that? Essentially, to me, ensuring that people have access to healthcare is a version of, let's say, the government paving roads so people can get to a destination more efficiently. That's kind of how I see it.
Because the government has to be that middleman.
Again, and why are we in this situation in the first place? We're in a situation because of greed.
Virginia, as a conservative, when you're sitting in that audience or standing in that audience and you're listening to that message, how did it make you feel? Were you angry? Were you more drawn to that?
I was mostly uncomfortable because I was surrounded by a group of people who were talking about how they had gotten involved because they were tired of being angry all the time. And it seems like so much effort to be angry about everything instead of to focus on what you could do to change it.
Yo, that makes no sense. She said that she was around people that felt like they were tired of being angry, and it makes no sense that you were putting so much effort into being angry. These people like Ocasio-Cortez, right? And like Cori Bush, they were tired of being angry about their current situations and the current situations of many people. So what did they do? They made the very difficult decision to actually run for Congress. First of all, you have to be so knowledgeable about many different issues if you want to actually be like a legitimate candidate. To actually win like Ocasio-Cortez did. Do you know how many blood, sweat, and tears? Do you know how many hours she had to put in? Like, I remember there was this one time she posted a picture of her shoes or her boots, of her shoe, and they were worn through because that's like signifying how much she walked and how many doors she knocked on. These people are tired of angry, so they're making moves. They're advocating for a better system. They're not just sitting back being angry.
But she then said, people should be addressing the issues instead of being mad, and that's exactly what that forum was about, addressing the issues. But I guess it's truly sick. It's just so sick that people want people to have better access to health care.